Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. On today's show, Coinbase calls on USGov to allow banks to enter the crypto market. Also, ARK Invest says Bitcoin on track to meet the 2030 price target. And our feature story of today is the Bitcoin Reserve Review is a top priority for Trump administration, says crypto czar David Sachs. All this and so much more on today's show. Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. Today is February 4th, 2025, and the roller coaster ride in crypto continues. As I wouldn't say the trade wars are over, I would say the North American trade wars are on hold, and the world biggest economies are now at battle between China and the U.S., both imposing tariffs on each other, and this surely has a fair amount to do with crypto and the entire market in the red today. Let's get right into our market watch and look at that a little further in our Bitcoin technical analysis. So we see Bitcoin is down. It started up about going sideways, but throughout the day it's slowly decreased in value here. A little bearish for the day. Currently down 3.5% at 98,000. Ethereum down 4% at 27.26. Solana down 5.5% at 206 and change. XRP down 8% at $2.50. Doge down 8% at 26 cents currently. Let's get a better perspective in our crypto bubbles view here. And we see across the entire industry, everything is slightly in the red. And everything's in the red almost evenly, about between 5 and 10% down. We've got Hex up down 14% is the biggest loser. Trump down 11%. Jasmine down 10%. But everything else pretty much down about between 4 and 8%, we'll call it. Zooming out on the weekly, we have, again, most things in the red. The Trump coin is the big loser of the week, down 37%. Move down 27%. Bonk 23%. Near Protocol down 22%. Python 25%, Ethereum Classic 18%. Only three things in the green. The XCN up 8%, OM up 31%, Hype up 10%, and DEX up 7%. And let's zoom out to the monthly to maybe get some more bullish views here. And again, for the monthly, not much happening in the green, more of a bearish outlook, about 95% in the red, and only a few coins, including XCN, in the green, up 950%, DEX up 22%, OM 50%, XMR up 10%, and most other known coins are definitely down for the month. Let's go into our crypto market cap. Currently, we have Bitcoin at $1.939 trillion, down again about 3.5% of the day. Ethereum at 328 billion market cap. XRP at 145 billion. Solana 100 billion even. Doge at 39 billion, Cardano at 26 billion, Tron at 19 billion to wrap up the top 10. Looking at the crypto market on a whole, we have a total market cap of 3.16 trillion, of which Bitcoin holds 61.5% of that total market cap. Ethereum at 10.4% of the total market cap, XRP at 4.58%, and Solana at 3.17%. Currently, in our Crypto Fear and Greed Index, we have 54 as a neutral. Yesterday was 72 in greed. Last week was 72 in greed. Oddly enough, 2 days ago we had a 44 in it was neutral as well. And the very next day we saw that pump. Excuse me, which the negotiation of the delay on the tariffs had a lot to do with that. But again, here we are in neutral. And there are approximately 1,200 days until the next Bitcoin halving in 2028. And there's 167,662 blocks left to mine until that time. And until the year 2140, we have 1,180,194 coins left to mine in the Bitcoin sphere. In our total market cap by organizations, we have gold at 19.3 trillion, still in the number one spot. Apple at number 2, 3.5 trillion. Microsoft number 3, 3 trillion even. Nvidia 2.9 trillion. Amazon 2.5 trillion. Google 2.5. Bitcoin 1.9 trillion. Excuse me. Silver 1.8 trillion. Saudi Aramco holding up the number 9 spot at 1.787 trillion. And Facebook Meta at 1.784. So close. Looks like 300 million behind Saudi Aramco. And you can currently get 1,014 Satoshis for 1 fiat US dollar. And our current US debt clock is up 5 billion from yesterday. Currently at 36,439,100,000,000, which equals to 107,108 per citizen, or 323,046 per taxpayer. So we definitely see that the tariffs still are a little bit of a gloom in the markets. Everybody's kind of getting spooked by that. Again, when looking at a macro sense, this is something that's going to come and go. I'm sure there is going to be some kind of negotiations that happen, and then everybody's going to be even happier than they were before, with a great deal on all fronts, including between U.S., China, including U.S., Canada, Mexico. It just needs to be kind of worked out, negotiated in a peaceful way, and this will definitely come in time, and we might be surprised it might come faster than we think, and then sky's the limit, I believe, in the crypto sphere. We have locally in the U.S., definitely there's calls for the U.S. government to make some changes for crypto, including Coinbase, who is calling on the U.S. government to allow banks to enter the crypto market. Coinbase is urging U.S. banking regulators to allow banks to offer cryptocurrency services, including trading and custody. The crypto exchange argued that current regulations create unnecessary hurdles preventing banks from fully entering the digital asset market, including, according to Bloomberg. In a letter to the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC, Coinbase called for changes that would make it easier for banks to partner with crypto firms. U.S. banks need extra approval to engage with crypto. Specifically, Coinbase asked OCC to withdraw a policy that it says imposes an extra layer of approval for banks looking to engage in crypto-related activity. It also urged the Federal Reserve and FDIC to confirm that banks under their supervision can both offer and outsource crypto services. So the FDIC is basically insurance, government insurance on your money, the same way if you have money in your bank, you're insured up to a certain amount. I believe it's $100,000 are insured. It used to be 60, and I think they upped it to 100 now. And that is, of course, per branch. It's not per institution. So they're asking the FDIC to also, and the feds, to add the same kind of thing to them, which makes sense. Certainly, the banks aren't going to be offering, some shit coin or fart coin or something. This will be for the cryptos that hold their value. We're probably talking about the top three. When we go back into our charts here, I could see the FDIC insuring, these, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, or maybe even Bitcoin and only XRP, or Bitcoin, any of a combination of the above. They act a lot more like a traditional asset or stock, and the market cap certainly is enough to hold its own, and more than many of the corporations on the stock markets. Even if you go down as far as Solana, 100 billion, there's not that many companies that have a 100 billion market cap. Definitely there are some, and here they are, but we've got to go down. Let's see if we go down to the 100th. So I suppose everything at the 100th largest corporations, which 98 is Texas Instrument, then 99 Siemens, and then S&P Global. It's worth 159 billion. So going back to the crypto here, 159 billion would definitely bring XRP in the mix, Ethereum in the mix, and of course Bitcoin, which is number 7 overall, including all assets in the world. So back to the story, the Coinbase is saying, hey, FDIC, they have a huge market cap. You should be backing these as well. Banks have been hesitant to enter the crypto space due to regulatory uncertainty. Between 2022 and 2023, the FDIC reportedly told some financial institutions to pause or limit their crypto activities. This led banks to step back from offering digital asset services despite demand from institutional and retail investors. Right, so people with money are saying, hey, excuse me, Mr. Bank, I want to be able to buy, Bitcoin through your bank. Can you do this? And they're effectively saying no. Coinbase's push comes as a regulatory environment shift under President Donald Trump administration. Trump has appointed regulators seen as a more open to crypto and recently repealed the SEC rule that made it costly for banks to offer crypto custody. The timing of Coinbase's letter is notable of the Senate Banking Committee prepares for a hearing on debunking the practice of cutting off financial services to certain industries, including crypto. Coinbase has long argued that restrictive banking policies make it difficult for crypto firms to access traditional financial services. Coinbase's request is backed by 3 major law firms which argue that current laws already permit banks to engage with crypto firms. The OCC and FDIC declined to comment, and the Federal Reserve has not yet responded. So they're going to battle here, and they're bringing in 3 major law firms that are saying, banks, we need you to start offering crypto, and they're going up against the OCC and the FDIC. So excellent. So that would be the Office of the Comptroller of Currency of the Federal Reserve, and of course we know the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. So fantastic. Let's see what happens with these potential, certainly requests for now, but there's some, lawyers behind them as well saying, you guys need to do as you're told. And there's the committee meeting coming up. And certainly they'll be looking at that, and hopefully they come up with some good news. If they do, then expect that to be big news. I'll definitely be covering it, and we will expect a big pump in the crypto sphere. Speaking of pumping the crypto sphere, we have ARK Invest talking about staying on track to meet their 2030 price target. And we all know that ARK Invest has very bullish targets, with Bitcoin price battling the 100,000 range. ARK Invest is convinced it's on track to hit the 1.5 million target for 2030. I agree with that. Hey, American asset management firm ARK Invest has released its Big Ideas 2025 report, sharing insights on Bitcoin and other aspects of the blockchain ecosystem. In the report, the asset managers highlighted the growing adoption of Bitcoin, while public companies and the key catalysts that set it up for success. The ARK Invest prediction for Bitcoin. According to the ETF Issuers Report, a total of 74 public companies now hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets. It's gone up quite a bit from one, eh? And that was the Michael Saylor, the man, starting in 2020. Now it's 74 public companies holding Bitcoin. The report highlighted that the value on corporate balance sheets quintupled during the past year, from $11 billion in 2023 to $55 billion. Among the firms with a Bitcoin portfolio include MicroStrategy, Boya Interactive, and crypto mining firm Mara Digital. ARK Invest also hinted at the resilience of Bitcoin in the past few years as it absorbed major selling pressure. In 2024 alone, the report highlighted German government BTC sales, Mt. Gox sell-off, and shift in U.S. government holdings as headwinds the coin survived. The asset manager said Bitcoin price is on track to hit its 2030 price target of $1.5 million. It unveiled three major scenarios, including bear case, base case, and the bull case. In the bear case, ARK Invest predicted $300,000 price target. Very bearish. For 2030, that's very bearish. The firm predicted 700,000 target for base case and 1.5 million bull case by 2030. ARK Invest and broader industry outlook. The report also touched on other aspects of the digital ecosystem, including the emergence of AI agents and trends in stablecoins. Recognizing how artificial intelligence has been shaping the world, it predicted faster monetization trends for firms like OpenAI. Specifically, it noted that OpenAI can surpass $10 billion revenue this year, faster than social media firms. Meanwhile, there is a growing competition in the AI ecosystem, stirred by China's DeepSeek, amidst the OpenAI launched ChatGPT for agencies in the U.S. and enhanced security. ARK Invest noted that this rapid innovation will stir increased demand moving forward. The investment giant also touched on stablecoin, considering one of the fastest growing segments in the industry. Stablecoin volume touched $270 billion in 2024, with Solana, Tron, Ethereum, and Base in the spotlight. In addition, ARK Invest touched on digital wallets and scaling solutions as innovations to watch out for. The changing crypto ETF scene. Beyond the Big Ideas 2025 report, the Cathie Wood-led firm is a big participant in the digital currency ecosystem. Beyond its issuance of spot Bitcoin and ETF products, many expect it will join the growing list of firms pushing for an alternative ETF approvals with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. While its key partner, 21 Shares, filed for Polkadot ETF, product recently. Experts believe ARK Invest will make a related move soon. The new leadership change at the U.S. SEC is considered a positive factor to drive this major pivot to more altcoin ETF for the firm. Yes, indeed. I would personally suggest, before going with the altcoins like Polkadot, they might want to solidify some XRP ETFs. I don't think they have. Someone wants to shout out and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there's a Ethereum, but not XRP yet. I know they're slated on being hopefully approved sometime this year. But definitely there's more good news on the crypto front, because we have the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, out of there. He's fired. Well, he stepped down, but he knew he was going to be fired, so he stepped down. But we also now have a crypto czar, which was appointed by Trump's administration. And that leads us into our next story. Bitcoin reserve is top priority for Trump administration, says crypto czar David Sachs. White House AI and crypto czar David Sachs says the review of potential Bitcoin reserve is a top priority for the Trump administration. At a press conference with Republican lawmakers, Sachs said the president's new working group on digital assets will first consider whether the U.S. government should hold Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. One of the things that the president instructed us to do was evaluate the idea for a Bitcoin reserve. So that is one of the first things we're going to look at as part of the internal working group of the administration. So as soon as we get all that set up, we're still waiting for some cabinet secretaries who are on the working group to get confirmed. So we're still in the very early stages of this, but that's one of the first things we're going to look at. Amazing. See, crypto, Bitcoin should be pumping on this news here. It is the feasibility of a Bitcoin reserve. I think the concept of the sovereign wealth fund is a little separate, okay? Which he announced, Trump announced yesterday, there's going to be a sovereign wealth fund, and certainly a lot of people in the Bitcoin realm jumped on that, considering it to be a Bitcoin reserve, but he says, I think the concept of a sovereign wealth fund is a little separate. Fair enough. On the campaign trail, Trump said his administration would stop selling its trove of seized Bitcoin on the open market and instead strategically hold the asset as an investment. And late last month, Trump signed an executive order to evaluate the creation of a national strategic stockpile that could include both Bitcoin and other unnamed crypto assets. At today's conference, lawmakers also took questions on efforts in Congress to set up a clear framework for digital assets. A new proposal from Republican Senator Bill Hagerty, called the Guiding and Establishing National Innovation in the U.S. Stablecoins, genius, that's the acronym, Guiding and Establishing National Innovation in U.S. Stablecoins, Act, aims to clearly define stablecoins and require issuers to provide audited reports and meet capital reserve requirements. Absolutely, makes it sense. They're basically saying, if you want to be a stablecoin, you've got to be legit and show us your clearly defined requirements and audited reports and meet capital reserve requirements. So can you back up your stablecoin? If I want to take out $1 million, can you quickly trade your stablecoin into $1 million fiat dollars? It makes sense what they're saying, and I like it. And the fact that there is a AI and crypto czar now for the first time, and he's saying that this is one of the first things they've been instructed to look at. That's amazing news for Bitcoin. Hopefully this helps a little bit with people's financial literacy and in the crypto sphere. And again, I always say that if you want to get into crypto, first of all, you don't need $1 million, or you don't need 100 grand to buy a Bitcoin. You can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. That's what Satoshis are. They could be, one Bitcoin could be split into 100 million Satoshis. So if you want to start with $10, you could start with $10. It's just like any traditional financial asset. You can average, call it dollar cost average on it. If you're afraid to drop some big money on it, don't, right? Dollar cost average, go in monthly, go in over a long period of time, and the same way you would with the traditional investments, and that way you're going to get it at the ultimate lowest price. There definitely is this fear of missing out, but there's also the cyclical aspect of Bitcoin and the entire industry, in which every 4 years there is a Bitcoin halving, and generally the year after the halving is the height, and that's when you hear all the hype and the all-time highs. But for some time after that, so we're talking about toward the end of this year, there's going to be a downturn, and that downturn might be this current price. If things hold true historically, then the price could 3x from here. So if it 3x's from here and goes to 300K, then the downturn in those lull years after, and so in this case, the next halving is going to be 2028. So I'm talking about 2026, 2027. The low price might be 100 grand if it's going to triple from here. So average in, dollar cost averaging, always a good idea. Sure, you might have some FOMO, fear of missing out. And if you have a large cash reserve, certainly putting your money in Bitcoin should, in the long run, be safe, especially the way they're printing money and debasing, pretty much every currency on the planet. So hopefully you guys gain some financial literacy from the show that we do every day, and hopefully you learned also from it that money is abundant and money is everywhere, and it is time that you need to hold in the highest regard, because time is what's scarce. Spend less than what you earn, also part of financial literacy. Get rid of those debts, get rid of those credit cards, stop paying interest to the bank. If you have a credit card or a mortgage or a loan, remember, it's not your money, it's the bank's money, and they do want it back, and they want it back with interest. So don't treat it like your own. If you're barely getting by, find every single person I've talked to says, I just can't find extra money to pay my debts. I just can't find extra money to save. However, when you look at a detailed breakdown of money they spend every month, every single person has been able to find somewhere that they can say, oh, you know what, this is a little exorbitant. Let me not do that. I don't need to go to the movies 4 times a month. I don't need to go to a play every 2 weeks. I don't need to buy a $11 latte every day. I'll make my coffee at home. Times 200 days a year, there's $2,000, right? You found your money. That's almost $200 a month. So look at yourself. Everybody's situation is different. Break it down, and of course you want to still have your coffee and your latte. Don't deprive yourself of fine things that make you happy. Remove the things that aren't doing anything for you. Those things you're spending money on that really don't affect your life and don't make things better. Do you need 50 pairs of shoes? Or are you okay with 5 or 10? Do you need to go buy a new shirt every 2 weeks, every month? Guys typically are not as bad as the ladies, I have to say, in terms of clothes shopping. But You certainly can find some saving in there, and everybody's different, and everybody needs to look at their own situation. Nobody's going to be able to help you. You know, this is something that you internally can look at, break it down, write it down, and once you write things on paper, it really helps you understand where this money is coming from, and where you can find where it's coming from. You can find places where you can take it and instead invest it. So start saving today. Start saving when you're young. Hopefully you can retire when you're 40 if you start saving when you're young. If you've got a great idea and you're holding on to it and you think that, you know, it's not perfect yet, I need to wait till everything's perfect. Things are never going to be perfect. Start your idea today and things will slowly come together how you envision, but a little bit of work every day will finally get you there. It's not going to all happen on one day. Hopefully you guys have all found this stream enjoyable and you've gained a little bit of financial literacy. If you liked what you heard, please share, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next stream, folks. Thanks for joining.